Did you know that about 20% of dogs experience panic fear when they have to step on metal surfaces? This may seem strange, but for many four-legged friends, grates, manholes, and metal stairs are a real nightmare that makes them freeze in place or avoid such obstacles altogether. Today we will dive into the amazing world of canine fears and figure out why our furry companions are so wary of metal. We will talk about the causes of this phobia, share ways to help your pet overcome their fear, and give practical advice for those who have faced this problem. And while we are preparing to reveal all the secrets of dogs' fear of metal, share in the comments, has your pet ever shown a strange fear of metal surfaces? Perhaps refused to walk on a grated bridge or avoided sewer manholes? Your stories will help us better understand how common this problem is, and perhaps some viewers will find a reflection of their own experience in them. Understanding your four-legged friend's fears is the key to harmonious relationships and a comfortable life for your pet. After all, in an urban environment, metal surfaces are encountered at every step, and a dog's inability to move calmly on them can seriously complicate your walks together. Let's start with the most obvious, the peculiarities of canine perception. Unlike us, dogs perceive the world primarily through smell and hearing. Their sense organs are much sharper than human ones, and what is imperceptible to us can be a source of strong discomfort for them. Metal surfaces have a special property. They conduct and amplify vibrations. When a dog steps on a metal grate or sheet, its sensitive paws pick up these vibrations, which can be perceived as something unusual and potentially dangerous. Imagine walking on a surface that seems to respond to your every step with a strange hum. You'll agree this can be alarming. In addition, metal has its specific smell, especially noticeable in humid weather or when heated in the sun. For a dog's nose, capable of detecting smells tens of thousands of times better than a human's, this aroma can be quite intense and unpleasant. Some metals, such as iron, can oxidize and emit smells that dogs associate with danger. Another factor is temperature. Metal heats up and cools down quickly, making it uncomfortable for dogs' paws. On a hot summer day, a metal surface can become so hot that it causes painful sensations, and in cold weather, conversely, burningly cold. One unpleasant experience is enough for a dog to remember. Metal equals discomfort. Now let's talk about the structure of metal surfaces. Many of them, grates, perforated sheets, meshes, have holes. For dogs, this can be a real problem, as they can see the space below through these holes, but cannot understand if it is a solid support. A dog's vision is structured differently than a human's, and it is more difficult for them to assess the depth and reliability of such a surface. Research shows that dogs perceive transparent or translucent surfaces as potentially dangerous. This is an evolutionary mechanism that helped their ancestors avoid unreliable patches of soil, swamps, or thin ice. Therefore, a grated floor looks like a trap to many dogs, into which they might fall. An interesting fact, puppies who had positive experiences with different types of surfaces at an early age, including metal ones, are much less likely to develop such fears in adulthood. This confirms the importance of early socialization and familiarity with various textures and materials. What about sound? Metal surfaces create a characteristic ringing sound when in contact with a dog's claws. This sound can be not only unpleasant, but also frightening for an animal with its sensitive hearing. Imagine that each of your steps is accompanied by a loud metallic clang. You'll agree, this can make even the bravest dog nervous. Dogs that live in rural areas and rarely encounter metal structures usually react to them more warily than urban pets. This is explained by the lack of habit and experience interacting with such surfaces. Urban dogs, who encounter metal grates and manholes daily, gradually get used to them and stop perceiving them as a threat. But it's not just the physical properties of metal that can cause fear. Sometimes the reason lies in negative experience. If a dog once slipped on a metal surface, got its paw stuck in a grate, or experienced other discomfort associated with metal, it can develop a persistent association between metal surfaces and danger. Psychologists who study animal behavior call this a conditioned reflex. When a certain stimulus, in this case a metal surface, is associated with a negative experience and causes a reaction of fear or avoidance, such associations can form very quickly. Sometimes one unpleasant incident is enough. Some dog breeds are more prone to developing fears and phobias. For example, Border Collies, German Shepherds, and other highly intelligent breeds often show greater sensitivity to unusual situations and objects. This is due to their highly developed intelligence and ability to notice the smallest details of the environment. On the other hand, breeds such as Labradors or Golden Retrievers, known for their balanced temperament, usually adapt more easily to different types of surfaces. But of course, individual character traits play no less a role than breed predisposition. How can you help a dog overcome its fear of metal surfaces? The main principle is gradual exposure and positive reinforcement. You cannot force a dog to do what it fears by forcibly dragging it onto a frightening surface. Such an approach will only intensify the fear and can lead to a loss of trust between you and your pet. Instead, start small. Place a small metal object near the dog's resting place so it gets used to its appearance and smell. Encourage any positive interaction with this object with treats and praise. Gradually increase the size of metal objects and the time of contact with them. When the dog is ready, you can move on to the next stage, acquaintance with metal surfaces. Start with a small piece of metal sheet placed on the floor. Encourage the dog for approaching it, sniffing it, and, ultimately, for standing on it with its paws. It is important to create a positive association. The metal surface should become a harbinger of something pleasant. You can feed the dog on a metal tray or play with it near metal objects. Gradually, fear will give way to curiosity and then to calm acceptance. There is an interesting technique used by professional dog trainers, the bridge of trust. The essence of it is that you yourself demonstrate to the dog the safety of the frightening object by standing on it and showing that nothing terrible is happening. Many dogs, seeing the calmness of the owner, begin to reconsider their assessment of the situation. For particularly fearful pets, you can use special paw pads that protect against cold, heat, and reduce unpleasant sensations from vibration. They also provide better grip with the surface, which reduces the likelihood of slipping and the associated stress. Some dog owners report successful use of pheromone sprays and diffusers that help reduce the overall anxiety level of the pet. These products mimic the natural calming pheromones that mother dogs release for their puppies, creating a sense of safety and comfort. In particularly difficult cases, when fear of metal surfaces seriously limits the life of the dog and its owner, the help of a veterinary behavioral specialist may be required. Such an expert will develop an individual desensitization program, taking into account the characteristics of the specific animal. Interestingly, some dogs are not afraid of all metal surfaces, but only certain types. For example, they may calmly walk on a solid metal sheet but panic at the sight of a grate or mesh. This confirms the theory that the basis of fear is often not the material itself, but its structure and the sensations associated with it. It is important to remember that patience is the key to success in dealing with canine fears. Some pets may need several weeks or even months to completely overcome their fear of metal surfaces. Do not rush the process and appreciate even the small successes of your four-legged friend. To summarize, we can say that the fear of metal surfaces in dogs is a complex phenomenon caused by a combination of the physical properties of metal, the peculiarities of canine perception, and the individual experience of the animal. Understanding the causes of this fear is the first step to overcoming it. We have examined the main factors causing discomfort: unusual vibrations and sounds, specific smell, extreme temperatures, visual perception of grated structures, and possible negative experiences in the past. We have also shared practical advice on helping your pet overcome this fear. And now a question to you, dear viewers. What unusual fears have you noticed in your dogs, and how have you helped them cope with it? Share your stories in the comments. Perhaps your experience will help other owners facing similar problems. If the video was useful to you, don't forget to like it. This will help more people learn about canine fears and ways to overcome them. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss new episodes about the behavior and psychology of our four-legged friends. And if you have dog owner friends who might find this information useful, be sure to share this video with them. In future episodes, we will continue to analyze interesting features of dog behavior and reveal secrets that will help you better understand your pet. Stay with us, because understanding is the first step to harmony between human and dog. Remember, metal can be scary, but love and patience can overcome any fears.